Snow and rain, it is falling down, making things a little slippery. So let's go ahead and check in with Jason now. Jason, fill us in here. How's the rest of the evening shaping up for us?
Well, yeah, certainly over in the Mayfield section and sort of on that leading edge of snow showers moving through. It's going to be a tricky one, also going to be a very wet one out there as well. Let's go straight over to radar and show you what that looks like here as we are talking about that activity moving through the region. We're expecting a cold front to continue to slide south and eastward across the region, and this is what's going to allow the area of low pressure to surge right on up to the north and also to the east. You can see where sort of these bands are really moving through. This is sort of the hot zone right now, moving from southwestern areas of Richland through Ashland, Medina County, stretching all the way over to Lake Geauga and also Ashtabula counties as well. We do have a winter weather advisory in effect. You can see for the county shaded there in blue, Geauga, Ashtabula, Trumbull, down towards Carroll and also Tuscarawas County. I believe at least over the next couple hours, you can see another couple of more counties come up here, at least on the winter weather advisory side of things, but it's still going to be a very poor commute out there, at least over the next several hours through about 8-9 p.m. Visibility readings already well below a mile, stretching from Ashtabula back towards Mansfield. 2-mile visibility for Worcester and also Akron, Canton. And again, this system is not going to fully clear the region until early tomorrow morning. Of course, we're going to be timing that out for you and sort of the greatest impacts for the weekend, for better or for worse, I like to question. And is there a warming trend headed towards the region over the next several days? Answer that question coming up a little bit later, guys.
All right, Jason, thanks for getting us set up. Well, today, President Biden is calling to end normal trade relations with Russia, clearing the way to increase tariffs on Russian products. The move needs congressional approval, which is almost guaranteed, as lawmakers in both parties are calling for harsher action to stop Russian President Vladimir Putin's rampage in Ukraine. NBC's Alice Barr reports from Washington.
Russia is broadening its attacks on Ukraine, from new airstrikes in the west to ground advancements in the east. U.S. officials believe Russian troops could encircle the capital within 2 weeks. Ukrainian forces fighting back even harder. As today, President Biden announced new steps to punish Russia's economy.
Putin is an aggressor. He is the aggressor, and Putin must pay the price.
The U.S. and allies are moving to end normal trade relations with Russia, letting the West raise tariffs on Russian products, as the U.S. bans some Russian imports,
including seafoods, vodka, and diamonds.
A group of Republican lawmakers urging even harsher action, slamming the president for not helping Poland deliver fighter jets to arm Ukraine.
People are dying. Send them the planes that they need.
President Biden fiercely defending his decision to not let American pilots fly into Ukraine.
Don't kid yourself, no matter what you all say. That's called World War III.
Vice President Kamala Harris visiting U.S. troops in Poland.
When we stand firm, we can back it up with you.
That as Russia called a United Nations Security Council meeting to claim without evidence that the U.S. is backing a biological weapons program in Ukraine.
We're not going to let Russia get away with lying to the world.
U.S. officials warn Russia may be following its established pattern, laying the groundwork to cover up a chemical or biological weapons attack of its own. President Biden said today Russia would pay a severe price if it used chemical weapons. The White House would not elaborate anymore on what that meant. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
More than 2.5 million people are estimated to have fled Ukraine so far. And years ago, some people who came to the United States as refugees from the area in the 90s and earlier settled right here in Northeast Ohio. Emma Henderson spoke to them about what they're seeing happening in Ukraine. Emma.
Hi, Isabel. The women I spoke to were all at the Jewish Family Service Association of Cleveland. One left Kharkiv in 1996 to come here with family, but still has distant relatives living in Ukraine. Yelena Kupisarova describes her hometown of Kharkiv as beautiful, wanting people to see it like these photos before the destruction. But now the streets are littered with debris and people are either fleeing or making their homes in basements and makeshift bomb shelters. While her life has been here for decades, for the last 2+ weeks, her mind has been with Ukraine.
You know, I'm crying every day. It's so hard to put myself together. My heart is bleeding, you know, for what's going on in my country.
While it's been many years since she's been in Ukraine, all of her childhood memories took place in this town. Now, coming up at 6, we'll hear from more people who left Ukraine for the United States, including a former doctor. Isabel?
Looking forward to hearing their stories. Thank you, Emma. Well, now on your feed at 5, United Airlines will bring back employees who were placed on unpaid leave last year for refusing to get vaccinated. The airline sent a memo to employees yesterday saying that those who did not get vaccinated for medical or religious reasons can come back starting March 28th. The company says it's taking the step because United believes cases, hospitalizations, and deaths will continue to drop. Last year, the company said 97% of its 67,000 U.S. workers were vaccinated. 200 were fired, and 2,000 claimed a medical or religious exemption. That group of people was not fired, but they did have to take unpaid leave.
Well, it seems far away now with snow coming down, but the American Camp Association says this will be the summer of camp for kids as the pandemic wanes and families realize they need to get kids outside and in person. And the time to start thinking about it is now.
The fishing, the archery, the arts and crafts.
Shaker Heights 8th grader Jacqueline Anzo is counting down the days until summer camp.
It just is the small things that make it feel like a home away from home.
Like other kids with serious illnesses, she found that home at Flying Horse Farms in Mount Gilead, a camp designed to provide transformative experiences for kids who need medical support. For the last 2 years, the pandemic made summers quiet.
So they're with each other, and they have that special circumstance that no one else has been able to connect with. Chance to be the first to arrive and the last to be picked up.
So many children with serious illnesses experience isolation, pandemic or not. So we have always focused on creating connections, that sense of belonging, and creating opportunities for children and families to make friends.
With a vaccine requirement and expanded safety protocols in place, Flying Horse Farms is now gearing up for summer.
We're here, our gates are open, and we're ready to serve families when they are ready to embrace camp again.
The American Camp Association says across the country, demand is soaring as many camps come back online, expand capacity, and parents feel safe to seek out programs to engage their kids.
We've all been impacted by this pandemic, and our kids especially, and so they need educational and developmental experiences like camp to help them catch up on who they are, who they aspire to be, what they want to learn, and really help them prepare for a successful school year.
They hope the season looks more like the summer of 2019, and so do kids like Jacqueline.
I would say just being able to experience the fun and the joy of being able to go to camp.
Flying Horse Farms is free to all kids who qualify, and applications are open now through the end of the month. And ACA also has a tool to help you find the best camp option for your family. We've got that linked on WKYC.com.
Yeah, and Sarah, I'm curious, what about costs for some other camps?
Well, there's obviously a huge range depending on what you're looking for, but with inflation on food, the labor shortage, and seasonal labor in particular, costs to run summer camps are definitely up. But the ACA president, Tom Rosenberg, he told me 93% of its member camps offer scholarships and all kinds of other financial aid. So parents should not hesitate in asking for help to get kids to camp this summer. He really hopes that every school-age kid can go because they know right now, especially, how important that experience could be.
Yeah, I'm sure all these families are just itching to get back out there and do these summer activities.
A little bit of cabin fever, right?
Yes.
We all have. So get out to the other kind of cabin.
I like that, from cabin to cabin.
There we go.
There we go. All right, well, straight ahead on what's new. We're all guilty of doom scrolling. It's scrolling endlessly through social media and online articles. Our Monica Robbins breaks down the mental health side effects and how to break that bad habit.
And then one of HGTV's most popular shows is coming to an end. What's next for the stars of Flip or Flop? Kiara Cotton is breaking it down in Pop Break. And Jason's standing by with that look outdoors.
Well, guys, that snowy and blustery forecast for the weekend. If you were hoping for another snowfall event, we have it right now. If you're headed out for evening, though, you may want to bundle up and also be careful out there. We do have some slick spots and even some of the snowy spots as well. 30s giving way to 20s overnight and perhaps even teens. But there's a bit of good news in that full forecast. I'll talk about that coming up after the break.
Welcome back. There is a lot going on in our world right now, from the war in Ukraine to rising gas and food prices to still dealing with COVID. It's enough to weigh on anyone's mind. And a recent survey from the American Psychological Association found these issues are really stressing us out.
But if you are one of those people who is constantly doom scrolling, as it's called, you need to listen to senior health correspondent Monica Robbins. She joins us now with some tips on how to fight that urge. Monica, it's hard.
It really is. And you know what, guys? We all do it to some extent, but doom scrolling is the compulsion of scouring the internet or your social media for negative news. And since we are hardwired to be informed and prepared, well, we're always looking for ways to find safety and security during these uncertain times. It's not a big surprise, but it's also very, very easy to get addicted to this. And too much of it can actually mess with your mind. So your brain actually has a bad news filter, but when all you do is look for the negative, it may limit your brain's ability to embrace the good news, which can leave you feeling anxious, depressed, and stressed if you leave out all the good news. So it's been much worse, obviously, since the pandemic began, but many do this at night before bed, which obviously disrupts their sleep patterns, causes overeating, and it weakens the ability to process trauma.
Small amount of news and understanding what is going on around us can be really helpful because it helps us to prepare. Too much becomes a problem because then our brains are primed to seek out and get fully absorbed in all of the negativity.
So do a mental health check. How stressed out are you? How much are you doom scrolling? And if you recognize it, log off or delete the apps or put restrictions on sites. If you choose to stay online, find social media sites that bring you joy. I'm a big fan of the cute animal videos. Limit exposure to bad news, especially before bedtime. And if the news is making you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or depressed, and it's getting worse, it may be very well time to seek out a mental health provider. And also, it is very important for parents to talk to their kids. What are your kids scrolling through? Remember, they have access to all the same information, so make sure you're checking in with your kids, finding out what they're looking at. And you know what? For all of us, it is never a bad thing to limit the screen time. I did it 3 months ago, and believe me, there was a lot of peace in my world when I wasn't looking at the computer all the time.
We all need that time out. And I think we've recognized more recently, too, that check-in is important, just to see how you, or as you said, your kids are doing. Is it easy to find a therapist these days if you feel like you need one?
Ironically, there's good news and bad news. Okay, so the good news is, thanks to the pandemic, a lot of people are recognizing that they may need mental health services. So that's breaking the stigma, what we've been trying to do for years. The bad news is that there is a huge lack of providers out there, and this is across the nation. So, for example, Ohio Guidestone, their waiting list right now is about 200, which is double what they're used to. The good news news, though, they are getting funding. They just received funding from the state that will create 150 new jobs that will hopefully ease some of the provider need. And you know what, though? Bottom line, if you need help, reach out to your general practitioner, your doctor, any doctor you trust, because telehealth actually is beneficial, even if it's for a short term before you can get in to talk to someone. And there are also other options available. And one of the things, Sarah, I have to say, because of what's going on in the world, a lot of people like to get together with their like-minded friends and talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're always talking about the negative and the bad stuff that's going on in the world, maybe it's time you put some restrictions on those conversations too. You know, limit the politics, limit whatever you're talking about, just to give yourself a break and just, you know, and obviously get out in nature, take a walk. I don't care if it's snowing. I'm getting out there to walk the dog later.
So many great tips. All right. Thanks, Monica.
All right. Getting out and walking in nature.
Even in the snow.
Even in the snow, she says.
There's no bad weather.
Right.
There's only bad clothing.
Exactly.
Right?
And you have to be prepared too. Monica was a great tease going into weather because, you know, it is such sort of that snow globe effect that is happening out there across Northeast Ohio. You're wondering, hey, Jason, when is this going to end? When can we get back to the spring-like temperatures? Where that is the glimmer of hope that at least is in the 7-day forecast. But I'm calling it snowy, blustery, just raw, just nasty feeling out there. Basically the type of weather you actually want to stay inside and bake cookies or maybe even like watch a movie or something like that. It is going to be sort of that cold, very, very distantly spring type of evening here. We want to start out by showing what a live look around town looks like because not everybody is receiving the snow at this point. It is wet. It is really nasty out there. But over towards 480 and Lee Road, you can see the visibility is very, very poor, even in downtown Cleveland right now. From Medina over towards Canton, even Warrensville, picking up some light snows at this hour. Here's what it looks like on radar. So this is not a terribly long, expensive monster of a system. In fact, we're expecting some scattered snows to continue at least over our area over the next several hours and then begin to taper off shortly after the midnight hour. We also do have some counties that are shaded under a winter weather advisory. You can see that's going till about noon for tomorrow afternoon. Only a few though, Tuscarawas, Carroll, Trumbull, Geauga, and also Ashtabula County. However, I am expecting a couple more to likely come on here over the next several hours here if we get some heavier bands of snow moving through. But it's sort of like a wet, fat snow event that's happening outside and it's beginning to stick in some areas. Where you see here sort of the blues and also the greens, this is where we still have a little bit of more warmer than freezing temperatures. So the ground is still trying to settle a little bit and we're still trying to get some of that snowfall to stick. As far as the heaviest bands right now, they're stretching mainly back to the southwest and also the northeast through Cuyahoga, Medina, Summit, also Portage County. Visibility for this evening, if you're going for dinner, perhaps even you know somebody is coming home from work, maybe even wants to pick up the kids, just alert them that they need to be extra cautious at least while some of the heavier bands are falling through because we've had visibility down to about a quarter of a mile for this evening. You can see where the temperatures are beginning to line up. You remember earlier I was saying we're trying to get that changeover effect. It's still in the 40s from Youngstown all the way through to Akron, Dover, New Philadelphia, Tuscarawas, Carroll County. Still very warm down there, but at and below the freezing mark along and south and east along the lake shore. The weekend outlook doesn't look half bad. The first half of the weekend a bit cold, a bit more snowy, but the latter half, again, not too terrible. For the rest of the evening, your timeline for this winter type event is likely going to continue with snow overnight tonight. With snow lingering, we'll have a little bit of a lake effect for the first half of our Saturday, and then I think we'll be mostly okay, but temperatures will likely be stuck, and I mean stuck in the 20s for the most part. Your National Design More hour-by-hour forecast, at least through this evening, keeps those bands of snows around. Again, after the midnight hour, we start to titrate down in terms of our snowfall event. I think for tomorrow morning, we'll likely have some few light snows still scattered across the region. Likely having feels like temperatures in the teens and lower teens for that matter. Through mid-morning, still a bit more cold out here. Again, by the end of the weekend, though, we start to rebound just a little bit. You can see that in your Union Home Mortgage 7-day. Milder temperatures starting out next week. 50s expected, and by St. Patty's Day, a stray afternoon shower. Highs in the mid-60s. Sarah and Isabel.
67. Wow. I like it.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
Jason.
You're welcome.
Coming up, this celeb is one step closer to graduating from Harvard. You would be celebrating too if you just finished writing a 32,000-word paper. Yeah, that's ahead in Pop Break.
Oh man. And parents, this one's for you. Ever catch your kids in the cupboards? This dad's reaction is worth the watch.
Hi. We are talking, Emilio Delgado. It is sad, very sad. Now you know. That's what Pop Break is about. Keeping you informed, but it's sad today.
Before we head into the weekend, let's get you caught up on the biggest headlines out of the entertainment world tonight.
Absolutely. Kara Cotton joins us for that. Hey, Kara.
Hi, Isabel and Sarah. You know, I try to keep Pop Break segments light, but today we're starting with a bit of sad news. The entertainment industry is mourning the loss of actor Emilio Delgado. Delgado was most widely known for playing Fix-It Shop owner Luis on Sesame Street. He joined the cast in 1971 and remained a fixture until 2016. A proud Mexican-American, Emilio held the title for the longest-running role for a Mexican-American in a TV series. Delgado died at his home in New York after being diagnosed with blood cancer in late 2020. Emilio Delgado was 81 years old. And it's the end of an era for a popular HGTV show. Flip or Flop, hosted by formerly married couple Tarek El Mousso and Christina Hack, is coming to an end after its current season. The show, now in its 10th season, follows Tarek and Christina as they conduct house flipping project. The stars, who divorced in 2016, announced the news of the show's end on social media yesterday, but you'll still be able to keep up with the pair with their upcoming solo series, Flipping 101 with Tarek El Mousso and Christina on the Coast. And here's a little bit of good news. Actress Yara Shahidi is one step closer to receiving her college degree. The 22-year-old grownish star shared a video on Instagram celebrating the completion of her thesis. Dressed in a Harvard crew neck, Shahidi bops around in snow while rattling off her thesis stats and flexing her muscles. She captioned the video, "Your favorite thesis writer is done writing. Class of 2022, let's go." And last but certainly not least, Adele's Las Vegas residency may be on hold, but she's not taking any time off. She's back with another concert special, and Isabel and Sarah, it's coming right here to NBC. An Audience with Adele will air Sunday, March 20th.
That is coming up soon.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. My birthday is in late March, so I feel like maybe she knew that.
A little bit of a gift to you.
This is my gift. Yeah, thank you, Adele.
Certainly had you in
That was
mind.
very thoughtful of her.
I love her.
She is the best. Thanks, Kira.
Sure thing.
Well, when kids really want a snack, they find a way. And in today's Worth the Watch, one dad caught his son orange-handed.
Dylan, get out of the front. What the?
Oh, boy.
Oh.
Dylan. Open it. Dylan.
Oh my God.
Dylan, why is all these Cheetos on the floor?
He closes it right back up. He's like, I'm not here. What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh. And he fits right in that little cupboard.
I don't blame him. I mean, that seems like a nice little safe place to snack and not be disturbed.
Yeah. He just left a few of them outside, I guess.
Oh, okay. I'm sure next time he'll know he's got to clean up the Cheetos first.
I can say they find where those snacks are. Like, you cannot hide them no matter what. We have them up on the very top shelf, and we still have a little one that stands there and goes, I need a snack, you know, as she looks up at it. Yeah.
It's all about the strategy.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, next here on What's New at 5:30, we are talking stress. It is almost impossible to avoid right now what's going on around the world. Coming up, some easy tips to start your day right.
Then the daylight saving debate. While we spring forward this weekend, lawmakers across the country are split on keeping or ditching the time change. What do you think? Head to our What's New Facebook page and weigh in.
And another sign of spring, baseball is finally back. We have all the details surrounding the Guardians' return to Arizona for spring training.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Let's get you caught up on 3 things you need to know. Today, President Biden announced new sanctions on Russia. The U.S., along with other members of the G7, revoked Russia's most favored nation trade status. Exports of some of Russia's most valued commodities will be banned in the United States. And Russia will be barred from borrowing money from major financial institutions such as the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund.
Well, earlier this week, Lake Humane Society executed a search warrant in Madison Township, seizing 145 cats in the process. That building houses an animal rescue called Holy Cat Whiskers, which takes in cats that are in really bad shape. But investigators say those animals were not receiving the proper veterinary care they need, and the facility itself wasn't up to par. Still, many people in the community are backing Holy Cat Whiskers, saying they are caring for animals that no one else will help. A court hearing is scheduled for Tuesday to determine what happens next with these cats.
With gas prices hitting record levels, we reached out to RTA to see how they are being impacted. The good news is that leaders don't think bus fare is going up. That's because they started a fuel hedging fund a few years ago. According to the RTA's chief operating officer, the RTA already purchased its gas for the next 2 years.
By pre-purchasing the fuel through a hedging program, and then therefore allowing us to have stability to go out. So we don't foresee that this increase in price will have any effect on the price of fares for our customers.
The RTA also has a fuel reserve fund to help with the spike in prices. It's also transitioning its vehicles from diesel to compressed natural gas buses, which is cheaper. And on that note, we welcome you back to What's New. I'm Isabel Lawrence with Sara Shookman. Jay and Betsy are off tonight.
Yeah, I bet more people are going to think about taking the bus or the Rapid or whatever options they are, especially if gas prices keep going up. It's like you're going to have to do something about your behavior, right?
Absolutely. And I shared kind of an infographic with some recent gas prices and just asked people, what are you doing? And a lot of people said if they can, they might try to walk or not in this weather, but ride a bike to work.
Yeah, that's a great plan too. Absolutely. Well, the weather, not so great for that today, but every day here at 5:30, we have our countdown to spring. And today we are in the single digits, folks. 9 days to go. And today's viewer picture is from Bill Myers in University Circle. Such a beautiful area, especially when the cherry blossoms are blooming. Oh yeah, definitely got to get over there and check that out this spring.
Yeah, I'm very excited. My first spring here, so I'll have to put that on the list.
Oh, there's so many. Daffodil Hill. We will make you a physical list.
Oh, thank you.
So you don't miss anything.
Appreciate that.
Time now to get to our top talker. The world is a pretty stressful place right now. Inflation, COVID, and the war in Ukraine are just a few collective reasons why. The American Psychological Association found that 8 out of 10 adults are significantly stressed out. And while not everything is in our control, there are a few things we can do to eliminate stress, including exercising and even breathing.
Stretching for 2 minutes in the morning can make a difference. Walking up a couple of flights of stairs on a regular basis can make a difference. When we make our breath slow and deep and even and regular, we actually short circuit the stress response. So we reduce our heart rate, we reduce our cortisol levels, we reduce all of those stress hormones.
Experts say getting back to the basics and making small improvements every day will help. I really find that the breathing makes a big difference. I do this called box breathing, where you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, then hold empty for 4 seconds. And that cycle, if you do it, 8 or 10 times, it really does just kind of like help reset.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I think people forget it can be so overwhelming, whether it's looking at social media or just all the things that come up in daily life, let alone everything like you mentioned there, Sarah, that's happening in the world.
Right.
That doing those little things and just taking a moment of peace for yourself, like you said, with your breathing, it really can make a difference, I think.
Yeah, whatever you can do, I think, to get yourself back focused on what's really important, right? And what's in our control. That's the other thing.
Yeah, control what you can control is what my dad always told me growing up. So I hold that one dear.
That's good advice.
Yeah. All right, good to know. Well, this weekend, we will lose an hour of sleep as we spring forward into daylight saving time. It starts at 2 o'clock Sunday morning. The time change will give us an extra hour of sunlight in the evening, but it will take longer to appear in the morning. In the last 4 years, 18 states passed legislation or resolutions supporting year-round daylight saving time, including Ohio. Last year, a bipartisan group of lawmakers in the House proposed staying on daylight saving time. It still has not been passed. I didn't realize that there were such strong feelings on either side of this topic, to be completely honest.
If you look into the data, there are a lot of strange phenomena, that happen when we do this, like heart attacks and car accidents, things that we definitely want to avoid, right? So I think that's where a lot of it comes from. Obviously, especially this upcoming weekend, losing that hour of sleep never feels good. I know you'll be with us Sunday morning, as long as the alarm goes off on time. You and Matt gotta check in on each other.
Yes.
Because it's hard. hard. It's hard. Kids don't adjust well. All of these things are reasons that I think people say, like, well, why are we doing this again?
Right, yeah. But then comes the fall, and then I'm so happy when we fall backwards and gain that extra hour. So I don't know. It's a bit cyclical here.
We're on these weird schedules with TV,
Anyway,
so
that's what I mean.
Like, we never experience it the same way most of you probably do. But yeah, it's definitely a good talker.
Yeah, it is. And that's why we asked all of you at home. We wanted to see your thoughts on this. So let's take a look at our What's New Facebook page to see if you folks support year-round daylight saving time. And most of you do support staying on daylight saving time. We put a little poll out there you can see.
The added daylight.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, Cedar Point fans, you can now own a piece of the Wicked Twister. The amusement park put 1,000 pieces of the ride's track on sale on its store website. Each piece is $215, which reflects the height of the ride, and it'll cost $25 to ship. The ride was removed early last month. There are some really big Cedar Point fans that are just loving to have a piece of memorabilia like this.
Get a big frame, maybe put it above the mantle in your home.
Exactly how wide or big would the track be? I mean, do you need like a special showcase for this?
Yeah, just to maybe put it in the garage, prop it up against a wall.
Yeah.
Is it that big? Yeah.
I don't know. But I think they will sell quickly. That would be my guess.
Yeah, if anyone does want to go ahead and buy one, please let us know.
Yeah,
We're very intrigued.
Send us your pictures. We want to see what you do with it once you get it home, too.
Yeah, very curious. All right, well, still to come, a one-on-one interview with the CEO of OpenM, a local organization helping families get on their feet during tough times, and how they hope to help children in Summit County in the future.
Plus, a bit delayed, but it is finally happening. MLB spring training is back, and our Guardians are taking full advantage. Straight ahead. And Jason looks at tonight's and into the weekend.
Oh, well, we're taking full advantage of that old snow globe here we got in Northeast Ohio. Somebody is shaking up, perhaps even it's Mother Nature. Snow showers beginning to hamper across the region here. We're going to talk about what we can expect for the weekend and beyond as I have more 60s in the forecast.
Welcome back on your Friday evening. Let's take a look at the weather. Jason, it looks like we're living in a giant snow globe right now.
It does. It does. It's like Mother Nature is just unrelenting with winter. But you guys know, as we go this time of year, it's just like ping pong back and forth. We go spring, we go winter, we go even summer sometimes as well. We've had temperatures in the 70s in March before, but we're not expecting 70s, at least at this point. I would hope to have some 70s in the forecast for you very, very soon, but we're still dealing with winter, folks. Spring begins on the 20th of this month, so we still have quite a bit of days to go here. You can see snowy and blustery overnight tonight as temperatures settle into the 20s for the most part. Across the area, we're still seeing some poor visibility, like over at 480 and also Lee Road for this evening. But as far as Medina, you're not doing too bad. Warrensville, it's a little bit tricky over there in that area. In downtown Cleveland, not too bad as well. This is not a very expansive system, but it is expansive, I guess, in length, but in size, it's not too big. It is quickly moving, though, so I think for the bulk of the evening, we'll be dealing with snow showers, and then things will begin to move out and kind of quiet down after midnight tonight, despite a few of the lake effect snow showers. Every county you see there shaded in blue is under a winter weather advisory that goes to about noon for our Saturday. I think, again, for the most part, most of the snow showers will be on out of here, but we're still going to be dealing with some treacherous travel and also some very, very poor visibility. This is sort of my target area that I'm looking at for this evening, stretching along 71 right now. I think 71, 76 is going to be sort of that dividing line between lighter amounts of snow and heavier snows as we make our way towards the south and also over towards the east. Again, that bulk of that activity is happening later on this evening into the overnight hours, but visibility is quite shabby out there for this evening. If you know anybody that has to commute for this evening, just give them a bit of a ping so they can have an extra look out there. We've still got temperatures well above the freezing mark down there, so this is where primarily our rainfall is for this evening. Along 71, you can see we still have a little bit of some freezing temperatures, so the changeover effect for this evening is relatively small. It's sort of like a big cutoff right now between rain showers and also snow showers for this evening. But there's good news in the weekend outlook, at least for the latter half, as we're talking about the warming trend and the days ahead. As far as the winter storm timeline for this evening, we continue with the snowfall through about 10, 11, 12 midnight overnight tonight, and then we start to kind of clear things out. We're still going to have some performance of lake effect snow showers for tomorrow because we still have a very cold air mass moving over the lake. As we move forward here in your National Designer hour by hour forecast, temperatures will slowly start to fall off here once the low passes overnight tonight. We'll give a northwest performing wind for us tomorrow, gusting up to about 10, perhaps even 15 miles per hour. This model really wants to keep our temperatures in the teens at least through mid to late morning, and then perhaps even move into the 20s. I think for the most part for our Saturday, we may top at about 25 degrees for the most part, and then cool things back down heading into Saturday night into early Sunday. By Sunday, things calm down a little bit, and we have a little bit of a low scattered snow shower moving through, but that's about the bulk of it. Once we move into the afternoon and evening hours, we really start to quiet things out, which is great news for us, setting the stage for a better next week. Don't forget, roll the clocks forward overnight Saturday heading into Sunday. Sunset time for Sunday is about 7:30 p.m. First day of spring at 7:39. Look at this, mild temperatures by Monday, Tuesday, even Wednesday, mostly sunny. I think Wednesday likely going to be the pick of the week with temperatures near 60 degrees by St. Patty's Day. I think it'll be mostly dry. We're keeping our fingers crossed there with mid 60s and upper 60s this time next week. Isabel?
Yeah, that's the only part of the forecast here, Jason, that I'm eyeing right now is those 60-degree days.
It does make life a lot better. I will say that.
It does. Thank you, Jason.
An organization in Akron is working hard to ensure people in Summit County have a pathway out of poverty. And due to the pandemic, its services are needed now more than ever. Here's OpenM CEO Christine Curry talking to one of our student reporters at the I Promise School in Akron.
Hello, my name is Candace Clayton. I am a 7th grader at the I Promise School in Akron. Today's guest is Christine Curry, the CEO of OpenM, a ministry that cares for people experiencing illnesses or hunger. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you.
I have some questions for you today. What do you do and what does your organization stand for?
OpenM, Opportunity Parish Ecumenical Neighborhood Ministry. I started in July 2020, and our role in Summit County is to provide people with pathways out of poverty, which means we provide nourishment for individuals in the community who need food. We also provide free medical and dental, and just really proud of all that we do in helping children and families get on their feet and get back to living quality lives.
How has COVID affected your ability to provide OpenM services to our community?
We're needed more now than ever. So we've stayed open. We haven't closed. Even when there are shutdowns, OpenM's open.
Can you finish this sentence? Akron rocks because.
Akron rocks because we are committed to taking care of our children and helping our children have better lives than we did. I was a first-generation college kid, and I'm sure you're going to be a first-generation college kid because of I Promise, and I'm paying it forward every day to make sure there are more first-generation college kids that can pass the torch on to their kids.
That's so sweet. Thank you, Christine, for appearing on the 3 Questions from I Promise School. I'm Candace Clayton from the I Promise Schools News team.
That is so sweet. Thank you, Candace and Christine. The I Promise News team has been hard at work, also interviewing Akron Mayor Dan Horrigan and a top leader at Gojo Industries. You can watch those previous segments on our website, WKYC.com. Well, what's new next? Cleveland's Beer Fest is back. If you're looking for something fun to do indoors this weekend, grab brew at the Huntington Convention Center.
Then a local teacher is getting rid of his hair because of his students. We'll tell you why in our Show Us Something Good.
Mic check. This is what's clicking in Cleveland. Beer Fest. Okay.
.50 now, and it is time to see what is clicking in Cleveland. And for that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Sarah. Happy Friday, and a very happy Friday for baseball fans. We have Cleveland Guardians player sightings in Arizona. That's what people are excited about, to get spring training started as soon as possible. The team tweeted today photos of all-star third baseman Jose Ramirez and starting pitchers Shane Bieber, Zach Plesac, and Tristan McKenzie at the training facility. And we know the first spring game now is scheduled for March 18th against the Cincinnati Reds at Goodyear Ballpark. Tickets will go on sale soon, and we will keep you posted about that as soon as we know more details. Now, baseball and beer kind of go hand in hand, so it is fitting that Cleveland Winter Beer Fest starts today, too. It kicks off at 8 p.m. for general tickets and lasts until 11:30 p.m. tonight, with those same hours tomorrow. This is at the Huntington Convention Center right downtown. There will be 150 different beers to sample, and whether you're drinking or not, you have to be 21 to get in. Designated drivers can get a special ticket that's a little bit cheaper. Also this weekend, The Voice winners and Ohio natives, the band Girl Named Tom, are bringing their tour to Springfield. I talked with Josh, Caleb, and Becca exclusively on my 3 Things to Know podcast. They told me their first order of business when they moved back home to Pettisville was giving back to their community.
We actually did a little surprise show for the students of our old high school. It's K through 12 school. So they just one building, they put everyone into the cafetorium, it's one of those hybrid cafeteria auditorium things. And that was super meaningful for us to be able to surprise them in that way. And it was just shocking. We were surprised how much they, are excited about it. Yeah. And it's inspiring to us to be able to be some kind of example to them.
How can you not love those guys, But talk about a very different stage after coming off of their historic win on The Voice. And now these 3 siblings are back on the road touring all over the U.S. And they tell me that they are really loving experimenting with different stages and spaces and sort of feeling out what feels right for their shows. We cover a lot of bases in our interview, Sara and Isabel, and they are so fun. You can tell that they actually really like each other as siblings. It is not an act, I can confirm. And the link to buy tickets to their Saturday show is at wkyc.com/3thingsto know, which is where the full podcast is. I really recommend people listen to this one. It was a good time chatting with them.
I think people will love to learn more about them. All right, Stephanie, thanks. Coming up on What's New here, why this assistant principal and PE teacher is shaving his head. That's next on Show Us Something Good.
Then on 3 News at 6, spring travel season. As COVID restrictions lessen, people are planning to get away. The stark warning, though, if you are planning to fly, coming up. And a fitting question today. The Great Blizzard of 1888 began on this day. How much snow did some parts of the country get? 21 inches, 50, or 72? Welcome back. Before the break, we asked you how much snow parts of the country got during the blizzard of 1888. Again, your choices here: 21 inches, 50, or 72. The answer, B, 50 inches.
I was going to go in the middle just because I don't know weather facts from 1888. But can you imagine 50 inches?
I really hope that history does not repeat itself today.
That's like more than we get in multiple months, some entire winter seasons.
I hope that is more snow than I see, in the next few years here.
Well, okay, now you're getting carried away, Isabel.
Now
I
I'm
know
getting
you're new
hopeful.
around here, but yeah, we're definitely going to get 50 inches when you add up these years.
All right, I'll buckle up then. I'm ready.
Well, today's Show Us Something Good comes from our friends at St. Columkill School in Parma. Check this out. Their assistant principal and PE teacher, Dave Andexler, put the fun in fundraiser. 214 students raised more than $12,000 as part of a Jump Rope for Your Heart challenge for the American Heart Association.
And these students look very excited to have the clippers in their hands.
Yeah, that's a lot of power.
It's a lot of power there. This is really sweet. In honor of their money-raising efforts, he headed to those clippers. You can see, let his students buzz his hair off. And the top 3 fundraisers were Mai and Dean Repepi and Savannah Satow. So a big congrats to everyone. Your hard work will save lives, and I really think he is rocking this new haircut.
Yeah, I think it's a good look. And I loved the shot that we had where you saw all of the kids spread out in the gym, taking it all in the assembly. That you can see that was really all worth it.
Yeah, and the cheers, the excitement in the air there. I mean, how often do you get to shave a teacher's head?
That's a Good Friday. Sure is.
Good Friday indeed. I love that.
Thanks for joining us on this Friday for What's New.
Yeah, 3 News at 6 with Carmen and myself starts right now.
Now at 6, it's not over yet. Winter is sticking around as another storm hits part of the region. Jason tells us how much snow is coming. Fleeing the war, Russia steps up attacks in parts of Ukraine as the U.S. introduces more sanctions.
The free world is coming together to confront Putin. Our 2 parties here at home are leading the way.
We have the latest, plus perspective from 3 women who fled Soviet and post-Soviet Russia starting in the 70s.
He is definitely going back to the old Soviet doctrine, conquer and control.
Cats seized. Why more than felines were taken from a small rescue in Lake County. And time to spring forward. Tips on fighting the effects of daylight saving time this weekend.
Live from WKYC Studios, this is 3 News at 6.
Good evening, and thanks for being with us. I'm Isabel Lawrence.
And I'm Carmen Blackwell. Russ and Laura had the night off tonight. Well, we begin with what's expected to be a tricky travel night if you plan to head out.
Yeah, getting a little messy out there. Some Northeast Ohio counties are under winter weather advisories, and we're going to go ahead and take a live look here. This is 271 near Chagrin, as well as, what appears to be downtown Cleveland. Not that you can really see it out there.
The conditions are already getting a little bit messy.
Oh,
so that's where we bring in our very own Jason to check in with the forecast. What's going on, Jason?
Hey there, ladies. It is a very nasty Friday evening out there. A tale of 2 seasons. Last weekend, you guys remember, it was very, very warm. Now we're talking about Mother Nature bringing some unrelenting snow showers across the region. There is good news, though. This is going to be a quickly moving system. So over the next several hours, we'll start to see some improvement happen shortly after the midnight hour. But I want to start out by showing you what radar looks like right now.